All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. So we're waiting a little bit so that more people can join. Great to have you all here. See more and more people connecting, so that's really, really good. So today it's about our webinar, All There Is to Know About Building a Team in India. Really, really interesting topic. It's actually our first webinar here with Horizon, so it's kind of a test case. So we're also very open for any feedback you have during the webinar. Hello there. Hi, everyone. Good day. Yeah, feel free to leave a message in the chat, right? And also to provide your feedback on the webinar itself and what we could improve and what you like. And maybe quick introduction about myself. So I'm the head of revenue at Horizons. I'm with Horizons now for 4 years already. I'm located in Berlin, so I'm German, as you might can hear from my accent. And yeah, maybe until we wait so a couple of more people can connect, feel free to drop in the chat where you're currently located. Always very interesting to see in today's remote world. And get yourself comfortable, grab a glass of water, maybe a pen to take some notes while we wait here a little bit longer. And with me today is Sujit. Yeah, you can already see him here in the video as well. Sujit is one of our Horizons veteran. Yeah. We'll come to a quick introduction about Sujit in a second when we start. So Sujit is located in India, and we have also Jan with us, who organized the webinar and who's taking care in the background.
We will definitely talk about my introduction, Alex. But as you said, I'm a veteran. I do feel old.
Yeah, sorry, shouldn't be
Thank
insulted. But you're also here for how many years are you with Horizons now?
This is my 4th year.
Okay, wow, amazing, cool. All right. Maybe let's wait a little bit longer here. The weather's great in Berlin. I'm sure where you're connected. Hope the weather's great on your end as well. Not too hot, or at least you have an AC working. Let's wait some more seconds so the people can join. And then we will start. All right. I would say let's kick it off. So yes, exactly. Cool. All right. Maybe let's start with a quick agenda, right? So the topic today is building a team in India, as you have seen. India is one of our core countries. It's actually the second largest countries, which means second most employees hired through Horizons. And I will talk about this in a second. What does this mean and what is Horizons and how does employer of record works, for example. But India, super, super interesting country for us, right? It's really thriving, a lot of great talents. So we have there many, many teams for a lot of different clients, many different industries. And Sujit is here to give us a little bit an introduction of the country and what is important for you to know if you want to build a team in India, what some risks maybe, but also what are a lot of advantages when building a team there. And how does the webinar will take place? So first of all, I will give a very brief introduction about Horizons and who we are. And then to warm up a little bit, we will do a small poll. So we're going to ask you some questions to warm up and to understand what are your experience so far with hiring globally and also hiring in India. And then Sujal will take over for our country-specific part, and tell us everything you need to know when hiring in India. We will then do a short break to answer any questions you have. So please put them into the chat. But you can also do this during the presentation, and we will do our best to answer all of them. And then we will take one example customer story to talk how one of our clients built it in India from a real life example. We will talk a little bit more about what's the difference in setting up your own entity in India versus using an employee of record, and what are the pros and the cons. Then we could wrap it up and give again a little bit of time to answer any of your questions. All right. Then, quick introduction about Horizons. So who are we? What is Horizons? So Horizons is an employer of record company. And what does this mean? So basically, we hire employees on behalf of our clients in any country where our clients don't have their own entity. So imagine you're a manufacturer or your software company, and you want to hire a team in a country where you don't have your own entity. Either you want to first go into this country, right, and test the water there a bit, or you want to hire a team of engineers, support agents, but you don't have your own entity, and maybe you're cautious or you don't want to open it, and we will talk later about what does it mean to open your own entity, then we hire those employees on behalf of you, right? Because we have a network of entities globally, and then we will take the employment agreement, right, of the social securities, of the payroll, of the payout of the employees, and we are like your HR team inside the country, right? The industry employee of record is quite new. It's for, I would say, like 7 years, maybe more or less, and Horizons is there for 6 years already. So although very short time period, we are already one of the older, more established companies in this industry, right? So we cover basically the whole world, and we give you the chance to put the boots on the ground, in every country you want to be, and we always give you like guidance, experts if you need to know anything about hiring in those countries. And that's also why we organize this webinar, right? Because India, as I said at the beginning, is one of the key countries for our client, second largest country. So we have thousands of employees in India hired on behalf of our clients. And Sujit is our number one person there, and handles all the different cases. As you can see here, so our office is in Mumbai, right? It's a bit smaller. I hope you can see it. We have over 1,000 employees onboarded in India for our clients. Pricing starts at 299. Can talk a little bit about this later. We give you support on the ground, and we have over 500 happy customers hiring with us in India. And you can onboard with Sujit and his teams fast as fast. So if you have a new employee joining through our platform, they can be hired within 12 to 24 hours. And in general, we also offer a recruitment service. So employee of record is the core service from us. But we also have additional services like recruitment. So if you want to more people to your team, we have a recruitment team on site who can also help you find more people. If you want to find out anything else about Horizon, to get in contact with us, please feel free to scan the code here, QR code. Or you can also reach out to me or Sujit on LinkedIn, right, or shoot us an email, and we are, of course, always there for you. All right, so then let's start with a small poll. And for this, I would ask you to scan the QR code. I think it's on the next slide. Perfect. So please scan the code. And first, we want to know, describe your company state regarding remote employment. Have you ever worked with remote employment in India or globally? And give us some information about it so that we know where we are. I'm gonna wait here for a second. Wait a bit here.
Sorry, you just have some technical issues. I don't think it uploads. A second.
Maybe you can also write in the chat if the poll is working for you or not. If you have any troubles, please let us know. See the first votes coming in. Okay, I'm not sure. Jan, do you need to refresh it or does it
I
automatically?
just checked it should work. Let me quickly find out what's the issue. 1 second.
So we'll wait a second. You can also use the chat, right? So let us know if you have ever worked with remote teams so far. Is this your first experience? Do you already have a team in India? Just let us know. Or if you're already working for a multinational company and you have teams already globally in many different countries. Let's wait here a second so that Jan can reload the poll. Then I would say we move to the next question.
It should work fine. I'll just try again. Yeah, maybe can you guys tell me if somebody entered an answer in the poll already and that's not showing? But from my end, it seems like it's working.
Yeah, I think you need to share again. Perfect. Okay, here we are. All right, then I would say, so answers are right. This is my first touch point with international employment. I'm already employing people abroad, but not in India. I would say let's move to the next question.
Right.
Very good. The next question is, describe your knowledge about employer of record. Right? I've never heard of employer of record services before, right? I give you a brief introduction what employer of record it is. I hope you now have a good understanding of employer of record. I've heard about employer of record services, but I'm not sure what they are. Yeah? Again, maybe I gave you a little bit of understanding what employer of record is now about. I know what employer of record services are, but I'm not using them. I'm actively using employer of record services. So see here, right? Let's wait a bit. Okay, we see at least that's working live, right? When people are entering it. Participation is a bit low, so don't be shy. Put it in. Very good. Again, the same 2 people entering it. Right, I would say let's also move on to the next question. Okay, more people are joining. Very good. Not using them currently in the lead. All right, cool. And I think that's this last question, right? So basically, why are you here? I'm here because I'm planning to hire in India soon. I'm expanding to India, might be on the agenda in the next months. The webinar description sound interesting. I don't have a specific use case. I'm using an employer of record provider and unhappy. I want to get to know horizons. Let's also wait here a bit. I'm also hearing myself twice a bit, Jan. I hope it's not too bad, the sound quality. Right. Participation in the polls is increasing slightly. I think there's still room for some more. Currently in the lead, expanding to India might be on the agenda next month. Okay, cool. That's very interesting to know. All right. I would say then let's start. Okay, more people entering. Okay, India might be on the agenda next month. All right, very good. So then you're here at the right place at the right time, I would say, if you are planning to hire in India potentially in the future. Then I would say let's move on. And I would be handing over to Sujit. Sujit, I would say let's hand over to you, and you can do a quick introduction of yourself.
Thank you, Alex. I think that was a much awaited introduction because I had to sit through some slides, but you did you did cover employer of record pretty well, and I think we now have a context about the webinar. So I'll talk about myself. I have been with Horizons for the last 4 years. This is the fourth year, and I am from India. I was born and raised in a state called Odisha in India. It's a smaller state on the eastern side of India, pretty close to the Bay of Bengal. I work as a director of the Horizons legal entity in India. I am on board with the Horizons India entity. My team has onboarded around 1,000 plus employees in India in the past 3-4 years now. I do carry 15 plus years of diverse experience in customer success management, account management in India. And as I have been working with Horizons, and we have been dealing with clients who are from global locations and different geographies, I do understand the Indian hiring market from an international perspective. So today in our webinar, our main agenda is to get an overview of what do you need when you are looking to hire in India or build a team in India. For that, we would definitely do a talent overview, or we would look at the talent landscape in India and how do we uncover the Indian talent market. Before we move to that, our next slide will talk about an overview of India. When I say overview of India, we will talk about what is the currency that is there in India. As we all know, it is Indian rupees. Indian capital is New Delhi. New Delhi has smaller cities around it. They are now growing larger. That complete region is called Delhi NCR, and it is one of the growing locations in India wherein you would find a lot of talent. The official language in India is Hindi and English, though Hindi is not the national language of India, but the constitution does accept this as an official language along with English. The GDP of India is at 3.8 trillion at the moment, and we are looking at hitting 4 trillion in the 2024-25 financial year. We will talk about employer costs. Employer costs, by employer costs, what I would mean is the amount that you pay on top of the gross salary that you pay to your employee. So how much should you be looking at when you are budgeting for a new employee? And this usually ranges between 20 to 25% of the gross salary that you are paying to employee. We'll talk about it. The payroll for India is a monthly payroll. Every employee is paid out every month. Mostly, the standard practice is paying them at the end of the month. That's the monthly payroll. And when we talk about ease of business in India, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's a easy country to work with and hire people in. So ease of business, yes, it's easy. We'll look at the next slide. Okay. So when we talk about talent overview, what are we looking at? How to hire, the top things to know. The top things that you should know when you are looking to hire somebody in India. We have categorized mostly on the basis of skills, the holidays and festivals that are there in India, the compensation and benefit structure, and the workforce being a diverse workforce in India. When we talk about skills, so skills, specific skill sets are boosted by the Indian educational system. It's a vast education system in India. There are IITs, there are IIMs, which are producing a lot of talented individuals every year. People graduate from IITs and IIMs. They bag good roles outside of India. They bag leadership roles within India as well. So a lot of talent is there in the IITs and IIMs because of and the skill sets are boosted by the educational system. Uh, there are locations in India. Within India, there are multiple cities wherein you can look for specific educational skills. There, you can look for employment skills. We will talk about that cities or locations in the upcoming slides. Uh, when we look at festivals and holidays in India, Festivals and holidays compared to the other parts of the world, yes, there would be many public holidays and festivals throughout the whole year because India follows regional holidays along with the national holidays. When I say regional holidays, there are states which come out or which publish their state specific regional holidays every year, along with the national holidays, which is applicable pan India. So, as a manager, when you are, you know, trying to hire in India, you are building a team in India, it is important for you to understand the differences to your own holiday calendar. There would be Indian employees applying for multiple holidays, which are regional, which are national as well. So you should be aware of the holiday calendars in India. The compensation rates in India, when we talk about the salaries, the pay structure, the rates vary significantly between locations. So there would be metro locations, there would be metro cities in India, and there would be tier three, tier two cities, which are closer to the metros or which can be remote cities or remote areas of India. The salary difference between the ones which are there in metro and the ones which are there in the tier 3 cities would be pretty high. If you would look at the cost of living in the metro cities in India, that is higher compared to the regional, compared to the remote cities. So that's why there would be a difference between the salaries when we compare it within the cities. Uh, then, as an employer, if you are looking to hire in India, you should also consider offering additional benefits to your employees. You should also consider offering them health insurance. You should consider offering them bonus and commission structures. This is common in India. This is the standard practice wherein people do look for health insurance, do look for life insurance, term life insurances. These are the additional benefits which are there in India, though these are not mandatory, but these are becoming a trend. These are becoming industry practice nowadays. So people do offer these. Uh, the last point would be diverse workforce. When we are talking about India, India is a vast country with a population which is almost reaching 1.5 billion. You can understand the kind of talent that India would produce. India has a diverse workforce. People come from different locations, different cultures, people come from different religions, but all of them, when you are judging them on a scale of talent, yes, you do get very good talent, you do get very good knowledge and skill set. So that is always going to be there in India. In India, personal relationships are valued very highly. People do value personal relationships. They value respect, recognition within an organization. So that is also an important factor while you are hiring in India. Jail we can move to. Yes. So the next part of talent overview would be the skills that we look at while hiring in India or the different skills that we hire in India. On top of this skills ladder would be engineering and technical. There would be management and leadership. There would be digital marketing, software development, business analytics, copywriting, data science and analytics, financial acumen, and design. All of these skills, when I talk about these skills are not the only skills which are present in India or which are prominent in India. There are multiple other skills in which people do hire. People do hire in service sector, people do hire in customer service, they do hire in business process outsourcing. All of these skill sectors are there in India. These are the prominent skills that we have identified because of the onboardings that we have done in India, because of the amount of work that we have done with our international clients. We do see these are the main skill sets in which people look for talent in India, and we have been supporting them in these skills. An interesting slide. We talk about salaries, and the numbers that you see on this slide, these are not necessarily reflective of the exact amount or the ideal amount. This is something that we have picked from our research, our previous onboardings, multiple onboardings that we have done in the country, the kind of roles that we have hired for our clients. We have done a kind of a data analytics. So this is what we have reached at, and this is how you would relate to when you are hiring for these roles. A project manager in India would earn somewhere around 150,000 Indian rupees, which is equivalent to 1800 US dollars per month. And this is a standard that we have taken. This may not be the exact amount that a project manager is being paid. It can also differ basis the number of years that this employee or that this individual has already. spent in the industry, because in India, as I said in the beginning, experience also matters. How many years you have spent in the industry, that also matters. That's why these may vary. These may not be exact amounts, but this is definitely something that we have picked from our historical data and what we are doing right now as well.
Maybe doing a quick break here because I see we have a first question here, Sujit, so maybe you can also answer to this. So Nav asked, what is the main motivation of the candidate when looking for a job? Salary, culture? That's a very interesting question, right? I could say for Germany or Europe where I'm located, right? I would say from my experience here in Germany, it's always a mixture, right? I mean, I think salary is the baseline. Of course, we work for money, but also the working culture, the company itself, super important. How would you how would you describe it in India, Sujit?
No, Alex, pretty much on the same lines. I would say salary is definitely important, and we all know that we all work for. At the end of the month, we will all work for that compensation, that remuneration that we get. But apart from salary, culture is very important in India. Indian employees, they value culture. They are very sensitive when it comes to culture. They are very sensitive when it comes to respect within the organization. So if you are leaving an organization and joining a new organization which is based out of a country which is not in India, right? So they would expect the employer to respect their contributions, their efforts, some recognition, some rewards and recognition, I would say, value add recognition, something that would add value to their resumes, their biodata. That is very important in India. Salary, as you said, rightly said, salary would always remain an important factor for people who are moving to a new organization, who are joining a new role. Yes, but culture is very important in India.
Thank you for this great question. And again, feel free to shoot any question in the chat, right? We definitely have enough time to answer all of them. Very good. See, thank you. We tend to have higher tuition in our India-based teams compared to you. Okay.
That's an interesting observation. That's an interesting observation and interesting point also enough, because yeah, probably that is something we cannot be making a specific comment about at the moment. But yes, we as Alex said, that what motivates Indian employees to stay with the company, as I said, yes, there would be expectation of the employees to be recognized at all levels, whether it's a very small contribution, whether it's a very small effort, whether it's a very big effort. People should recognize the same, and that recognition is very important. That plays a big hand in employees staying with an organization for a longer period of time.
Perfect. All right. I would say let's continue with the slides. And again, right, please feel free to shoot any question. We're here to answer them. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, JL. So now the next slide talks about what are the sources through which you can get your talent. You are looking for a specific talent. You are looking for a specific skill set. Where do you go to? So we'll talk about online and offline resources. We'll cover online first. So online, we have categorized the job portals. Job portals. The first one would be general job portals. These are portals wherein you get all kinds of resumes, all kinds of CVs of the employees or applicants, right? And then we'll talk about IT and software development portals, which are very specific to these skill set, finance and banking job portals, and then engineering and manufacturing job portals. When we talk about general job portals, the biggest job portal in India is Naukri.com. Naukri.com has the largest database of employees, candidate resumes or candidate CVs in India. So Naukri.com is the leader when we talk about the database. LinkedIn, as we all know, you all would be using LinkedIn. We are also using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very popular platform nowadays, and LinkedIn is also used by employers to source talent, by employees or candidates to apply for jobs. And as we know, there is a LinkedIn premium subscription. You use premium to find more jobs. So LinkedIn, yes, LinkedIn is also one of these general job portals wherein you find candidates and in big numbers as well. Then comes Indeed. Indeed, as we know, Indeed is also a world famous job portal. It also has its Indian website, indeed.co.in. So that also has similar to what Naukri has, that has a very large pool of resources, probably a little lesser than Naukri, but yes, Indeed is also a popular job portal. When we talk about specific skill sets like IT and software development, there is a Stack Overflow jobs wherein you go to this. This Stack Overflow jobs is a portal. It's a platform for recruiting developers and tech professionals. That is a very big name. GitHub Jobs, which is great for finding software developers who actively contribute to open source projects. That's what you get from GitHub Jobs. AngelList is also hiring tech talent, especially in the startup arena. Right. We look at finance and banking. Finance and banking, LinkedIn is a very trusted source because in LinkedIn you do get professionals who have spent a lot of time in this domain and they have their own profiles on LinkedIn. Nowadays, as you would know, if somebody is actively looking for a job, they do put that banner of open to, searching for a job. That banner is there, looking for a job. And employers who are hiring, they also put a banner of hiring. So this is the LinkedIn can be used for finance and banking domain. Then there is something called e-financial careers. E-financial careers is a specialized platform for finance and banking professionals. You do get a lot of good resumes, good CVs from this portal. Engineering and manufacturing, there is something called Engineer Jobs. Engineer Jobs is a portal which has more or less most of the resumes that is there on Engineer Jobs are from candidates who have an engineering background or who have a BTech or a Bachelor of Technology degree. They do post their resumes there on Engineer Jobs. So that's, and along with Engineer Jobs, as we said, Naukri from a general portal perspective, Naukri is there. Naukri also has engineering and manufacturing resumes. Moving from online, we'll move to offline. Offline, as you would know, offline is the cities that you target. Offline would be the specific locations within India wherein you find specific skill sets. If we talk about Delhi, Delhi is famous for the education, the background, because education, Delhi has a numerous numbers of universities which are prestigious, which are top of the lot. When we talk about Indian universities, there is an IIT in Delhi, and there are multiple management institutes. So New Delhi is a hub for education and finance as well, because there are multiple banks and financial services which are present in New Delhi. So you can use if you're targeting New Delhi, you would more or less you will find talents from the education sector, from the finance sector. Then, as I covered in the beginning, there is a location called or region called Delhi NCR, National Capital Region, and Gurgaon is a part of that Delhi NCR region. In Gurgaon, you do get engineering and manufacturing and automotive industry skill sets. And then IT and software, yes, it is one of the biggest hubs in the IT and software domain in India. Along with Bangalore and Hyderabad, Gurgaon is also an IT and software hub. Then we talk about Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is part of Gujarat, the state of Gujarat, and Ahmedabad also boasts of engineering and manufacturing talent as well as the marketing talent. Marketing, sales and marketing, business development, because Ahmedabad also has the biggest management institute in India called IIM Ahmedabad, because that's the top of the lot. Then we talk about Mumbai. Mumbai is called the financial capital of India. So you can very well understand the finance domain, the resumes from finance domain, the skill set that you find in Mumbai is pretty much there in the finance domain. Pune is another city which boasts of IT and software, along with Gurgaon, Bangalore, Hyderabad. We do have Pune. Then engineering and manufacturing talent is also there in Pune. Hyderabad and Bangalore, you must have heard from me by now. Hyderabad and Bangalore are the IT and software hubs of India. You would get a lot of highly skilled software developers, highly skilled IT and tech talent from these cities. Hyderabad is also called Cyberabad. Cyber. So that's Cyberabad that resembles a city which is full of software developers or techies or technologically sound talent, right? And then Bangalore is again IT, software, finance, marketing, and Bangalore is also the startup capital of India. You would find a lot of people, a lot of young talent who are interested in, they do develop this entrepreneurial skills. They want to open a company. They're starting up. So Bangalore is startup capital. You find all of the IT software, marketing, startup talent from Bangalore. And Chennai, one of the other metro cities of India. So Chennai is engineering, manufacturing, and IT and software. These talents are pretty much there in Chennai. You also get HR outsourcing resources or HR resources from Chennai. So yes, Chennai would be the go-to place if you are looking for engineering, manufacturing, IT, software, HR resources. That should be the cities that you should target. Uh, in India, the we will talk about the working culture in India. So when we talk about working culture, what is the hierarchy that we look at in within Indian companies? It's always a vertical or a top-down hierarchy in India. Relationships, as we have already spoken about it, relationships are very important in India. How you build relationship within the team, how you build relationship with your managers, line managers, how the line managers or the supervisors they build relationship within the team, how comfortable they make the team members. That is very important and very crucial in India to survive or to build a team. Then the values, education is important. Education is one of the utmost important values. And the skills that the employees possess, that is also very important when we talk about values, education and skills. Now, diversity, we have already covered there is a diverse workforce in India. So when we talk about diversity, we do talk about traditional and modern thought processes. So due to the large population, as you know, that India is pretty much on the heels of 1.5 billion. So there are difference of opinion within the leadership, within the management. So but still they coexist, and they do go on to succeed in achieving the organizational goals, because even if there is a difference of opinion within the management or leadership, there can be a traditional thought process. People who have been managing companies for a long time, they do carry a traditional thought process of surviving in the market. Then there would be people who are very new to the company. They are joining. They are fresh from their colleges, but they're graduating from very highly prestigious organizations. They are being hired in the leadership roles straight away. They bring a very modern thought process. There would be clashes, but within these classes, along with these classes, the companies do prosper. That is there in India. You would see coexistence of difference of opinion in India. Then, because of the large population, what all things happen because there is a large population? One, it's a very highly competitive market. Highly competitive would mean people are ready to apply to move to other companies, but there is a lot of application. There would be a lot of applications for a single role. There would be many talented resumes, many skilled resumes that you the recruiters have to go through and reject or select based on the selection criteria. It's a very highly competitive market. The targets, as you would understand, the targets are set very high because of the number of talent that is available at your disposal. You can go out and find a fresh talent. You can go out and find skilled talent. So that's why you do keep the targets pretty high within in the Indian corporate sector. And then overachieving of KPIs, it's pretty much understood from what we have already discussed that yes, the KPIs are set because of the competitive market. The KPIs are pretty much always achieved or even at times overachieved. So that's about the working culture in India. Perfect. So we will move to the first Q&A session. We had a good poll, and now there was one question that we took up. Do we have any more questions? Please feel free to type in the chat box. Alex, do you see a question?
Let me have a quick look. I think I don't see any more questions on my end.
Okay.
So again, if you have any questions, right, feel free to shoot it through. Right. Hi, Abdu. Nice to meet you. Bonjour. Also, feel free to ask any question in the chat. You can also post it in French, and we will be able to translate it, but probably the answer will be in English then. I'm not sure how good Sujit your French is. But also for you, Abdu, feel free to ask any question in the chat or in the poll.
I would depend on you, Alex.
Right. And Jan, maybe you can also have a look on Slido if there's any question on this tool coming up.
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah,
then
I'm just having a look. Nothing there at the moment. Otherwise, we do also have a second Q&A section later on. If you guys feel like asking anything later on, there will be time. So we could also just move on from now.
I do expect a lot of questions after Alex, your slide on the entity and your slide. Yes, we will move to that slide. Jail, can we move to the next slide? Okay. We do have another question.
perfect.
Yeah, let's maybe cover Naf's question before we move on. So
Yeah. So now I think that's a very valid question, and that's a brilliant question, I would say. So whenever we look at hiring in a new country, the first thing that comes to our mind is, do we have do we have any challenges? Do we face any challenges while hiring in a new country? So in India, I would say from a challenge perspective, as we covered in the initial slides also, we don't face any challenges in India while hiring a talent. It's a very easy country. It's a very, friendly country to hire in, right? There are multiple talented people. There are so many resumes, or there are so many skill sets. The what I would say is you should keep a few things in mind while hiring in India or while searching for a talent in India. One of these things would be, yes, as we have already covered, respect. The relationships within the company, within the teams. So people in India, when they join a company, they expect recognition, they expect respect for the efforts that they make, for the contributions that they make for the company. They also expect a lot of, they do add a lot of, attach a lot of value to their relationships. So as I said, if a line manager or if a supervisor is keeping his team, he is making good relationships within the team, he is good to work with, he is very open, he is very transparent to reach out to. Indian employees are pretty happy with these things. Indian talent market, if you look at people who are very new to the market, and they are looking for new jobs, the first thing that they expect, obviously, apart from the salary or good remuneration, they would always expect recognition for them, so that they can be highlighted or they can be spoken about within the leadership and the management. This is something that we would suggest employers or the clients to keep in mind while they're looking for new talents in India, or building a team or growing their team in India, because this is very important in India. We don't see a challenge as such. So, yeah. Good question. Do employees prefer working from home over going to the office? So, working from home, as we all know, and we have already witnessed, all of us who are there in this webinar, COVID, or the pandemic that actually brought this thing, and that made it very important for employers to consider that working from home is also a good way of keeping your employees happy. Employees in India or candidates in India, they do look for work from home roles. I would not say all of them. Yes, there are people who are interested in going to office, more human interaction, personal interactions. Yes, they are not averse to it. But work and working from home, that is also something that people look for in India. Hybrid work culture is slowly taking over now. People are going to office 2 days in a week or 3 days in a week, and then staying back home for the rest of the week, or working from home for the rest of the week. So that is one culture that is catching up, hybrid work culture. Work from office is something that will still take time for Indians to be open about. They are still they still look for remote roles or work from home roles, but it should not play a big challenge in case you are hiring somebody and you are hiring someone, and you have an office which is closer to the employee. If you're asking for somebody to relocate to a different city, that might be a little challenge. But as I said, if you are closer to the employee's home, yes, they're fine going to the office as well. But work from home should not be ruled out. Thank you, Nav.
hey, if there are no more questions, I would say we move on with the next slide. And
Right, Jail?
that would be the crisis customer story.
Yeah. So I'll be happy to happy to talk about this customer, and we feel happy because of this customer story that we are presenting today. Because this is a customer who reached out to us by the end of December 2023, and they are a giant in they're based out of China, and they are a renewable energy systems giant. They manufacture renewable energy systems in China, and with a headcount of around 4,500, above 4,500. They reached out to us during the last week of December. I remember when we were talking with the client, we were discussing their hiring plans and how many people they are planning to hire in India. I was also part of that discussion along with our sales team, and we understood that they're looking at building a big team in India. They're looking at they have got a project which would run through to 2024, and they would keep on hiring people. The initial plan was to hire 8 people by the start of February, or yeah, February 1st was the targeted date, and the customer did go back to their internal teams, finance and legal, to get approvals. And by the time they got these approvals, it was, I think, end of January, and we had very less time to onboard their employees, but we did. And we did it on the 1st of February. 8 of their employees were onboarded in India, compliantly and legally onboarded in India. And as we could see, within 3 days time, they came back with a request to hire 10 more employees, because as I said in the beginning, that they had this project which required them to keep on hiring people, and this would run through 2024. That's why they came back within 3 days to hire another 10 employees, and they targeted 1st of March, which was relatively easier for us because we had pretty much 20-25 days to hire these people. And 1st of March, we onboarded the next 10 set of next 10 employees, right? So 1st of March, 10 more employees onboarded. We had 18 employees in India. They came back on the 25th of March to hire somebody in Vietnam. We do support Vietnam. We have a company in Vietnam. It was easier for us, relatively easy and faster. We onboarded this employee in Vietnam on the 1st of April. Now, we will also, and it is very interesting that we have also kept this offboarding slide in the customer story, because we wanted to highlight that how easily and how compliantly we can help our customers to offboard their employees in a country where they do not have their own office. The 1st of May is the next timeline that you would see. 1st of May, we offboarded 5 of their employees in India, because when they hired for this project, obviously they had estimated the number of employees that they would require. But as you would understand, when the project goes on, there would be some cases wherein some skill sets are not required, some roles are redundant. So they terminated 5 employees, and we offboarded these employees compliantly in India. So just a summary of this client: 19 employees hired with Horizon since February 2024, hiring in 3 different countries: India, Nepal, and Vietnam. And as I said, hassle-free offboarding of 5 employees in India. So the total cost today for these 14 employees employed, you know, uh, with us, so that's around 4,000 USD per month. So that's one of our successful customer stories. I hope you, in case you have any questions about this story, please feel free to ask us. This is where I hand it over to Alex. Alex, please, if you would take it over from me, entity versus EOR discussion, you are the right person to give us more details.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Sujit, for this very interesting overview of hiring in India. I think this was super insightful. And yeah, one of our last slide, I just want to give you again an overview of what is the difference between entities, right? Having your own entity and employer of record. If we think back at the beginning, we remember that some of our participants already have experience with employer of record, right? Employer of record at the end, that's the service we, Horizons, are offering, where we basically hire employees on behalf of our client. So you don't need to have known entity. And we summarized here for you again what are the differences, right? And when this could be relevant. So for you and your team or your manager, whenever you want to build a new team or hire a person in a country, right? Just think about, do you already have your own entity, right? And if not, does it make sense to open your own entity? And we summarized here a couple of questions you can ask yourself, right? Do I want to test out the waters or commit to enter the market long term? Do I want to hire within the next weeks, or can it wait? Do I want to be responsible for all compliance matters or not? And on the right, you find an overview of the comparison, right? And you can see, to summarize it, employer of record is a very great service if you want to start fast hiring people in the country, because you don't need to set up your own entity, right? So you can basically start within hours. So you can reach out to us, and then Sujit will support you with his team, and then basically you can use our entity to hire the employees in India, for example, or in any other country. We take care of the employment contracts, the payroll, the pay slips, right? And we can draft an employment contract basically within hours, right? So you can onboard employees within a week or two to have a little bit of buffer. And you don't need to wait before you set up your own entity, right? Typically in India, this takes about 6 months. And at the end, you're also reliant on the authorities, right? About maybe lawyers, banks, opening your bank account, right, is a crucial step, which can also take a long time. At the end, it's also about costs, right? So we are very cost effective in India. So basically it costs you $299 per month per employee. And this really makes sense if you start with a smaller team, right? If you have a team of 100 or more employees, of course, the cost for an own entity and to handle this will then be lower per employee, right? But again, you also have additional costs when you set up your entity, because you probably need to work with a company to set it up. You have like costs for the documents to create, right? So you have a lot of fixed costs as well. And with employer of record, you don't have them, right? You really only pay per employee, and you don't have like any additional fixed costs, which you first need to implement. Compliance, super important topic, right? Probably one of my favorite topics, because in regards to compliance, we take care of everything with employer of record, right? We make sure that the hiring is compliant. There's no employee misclassification, permanent establishment risk, or whatever it is. Also, if you want to hire in a country you're not familiar with, of course, the laws are very different, right? And we take care of this. So also when it comes to termination, that's probably the most challenging topic, right? I mean, employing someone, it's not that difficult at the end, but if you need to terminate someone, unfortunately, this is very, very different country by country, right? And in some countries, it's employees are very well secured, right? For example, in some countries, it's very easy to terminate someone. And there we also step in to advise you and to make sure that everything goes the right way, right? Both services, you're in full control of your workforce, right? When you have your own entity, of course, these are your employees. When you use employer of record, we take care of the HR topics, right? And we're your HR team on site, but you have also full control over your workforce, right? We don't have anything to do with the daily operations, right? Risk, very, very much aligned with the compliance, right? We take care of all the liabilities. You have your own entity, of course, that's completely up to you. We have then also here experience in the webinar, right? We have great local expertise, Sujit with our country director. So him and his team, they're always there for you, right? And they can give you detailed consulting, right? And then advisory. What is important to know if you want to hire a team, right? What is important to know in India? We have the same for all the different countries, right? So very different if you want to hire a person in India versus Germany, right? We also talked about culture, what is important to keep a person with the company, was a question in the chat, right? Also there, Sujit is there to advise, and his team, right? What is important, make sure that you don't only hire the person, to also have a great package, right? Talking about provident fund, any additional benefits, right? We also make sure you have a good offer in place to win the candidate, and also keep them with you long term, right? Flexibility, of course, employer of record, way more flexible, right? You can easily scale up or down. Again, you don't have any fixed costs, and you can also just use it for a couple of months, right? We also have a lot of clients who start with employer of record in a country, build up their team, and then after 6, 12 months, they start to open their own entity, right? Because then could make sense depending on how big the team is, right? Long-term presence, nevertheless, right? Although employer of record is very flexible, we also have clients who are using this for 4 years or longer already, right? Highly depends on what is your strategy for this country, right? And also what will be the volume and what kind of team you want to hire and what do you want to do, right? Do you want to sign contracts inside? Do you want to issue invoices from India, from your Indian entity, right? But also there, we are always there to support you and consult you. So if you ever have a question about this, doesn't make sense to open up your own entity or employer of record, feel free to contact us. And I would say this also brings us to our last slide. So maybe because before we're ending this again, right? If you have any question, also for the late joiners, now is your final chance, yeah, to ask us directly in the chat. So write the message, the question in chat. Sujit will be here to answer. And yeah, then I would say thank you, Sujit, for all the time. If you want to contact us, right? You've seen before on the slide, we have teams in all the different countries, right? Feel free to reach out to us. So we do have the team, the operational teams on site, like Sujit as a country director. But of course, we also have a team of consultants in your time zone, wherever you're joining, right? Feel free to reach out. You also can contact us on LinkedIn, me or Sujit, right? You're very approachable. And then I would say thanks a lot. Maybe last words from your end. Was really great listening to you. I learned a lot again about India. Thanks so much for all those insights.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex, for talking about the entity and UR differences. That was very insightful. And as Alex said, everyone, if you want to hire somebody and you are looking at a time zone, your specific time zone, so you can see on screen we have our consultants, our sales managers who are based out of EMEA, APAC, and American time zone. You can always reach out to them. Apart from them, obviously, as Alex and I would always be available in case you want to write to us, want to connect with us on LinkedIn, please feel free. Please send us a connection request or a message at least. We should be reaching out to you. There is an upcoming webinar. I think, Jail, you had. Can we move to the next slide? There is an upcoming webinar where we will talk about building high performing global teams on a budget. And that is coming on the 30th of July. So we would be preparing for that webinar. We would make sure that we talk a lot about how you can hire on a budget and build a global team. So yes, we will look forward to many of you joining that webinar as well. Uh, Thank you everyone for the time that you have spent on the webinar. Thank you, Alex, for the lovely insights. Thank you, Gianluca, for being being our support system from a tech perspective. If we do not have any other questions, we thank you all for joining. And for any information, please feel free to contact us. There is an email ID that you would see on the screen, email@joinhorizons.com. Apart from the email, you have Alex and my LinkedIn profiles. You would search for our LinkedIn profiles. You will definitely find us on LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out. We wish you all a very good evening, night, and stay safe and take good care of yourself. Before
Perfect.
we
Thank
wrap
you,
up,
everyone.
namaste and good night.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.